was nowhere on the cards. I had no plans. But it so happened that I had to move out of my job and take up the business with absolutely no background in science or skin. The people I'm working with are way senior than what I am. They definitely know their job better than I know their job. And I was supposed to make that happen better. At the wedding clinic, we curate skincare services for the bride, the groom, and the wedding family. The entire journey is about 6 months to a year, and the entire concept is actually very, very niche. When it's your own business, it's when you open your eyes to when you close your eyes. There is no 9 to 5. Even when I travel, I'm always available. I have to be there. Like, I can't disconnect and say that, oh, okay, 10 days I'm off and you can't call me. No, I will die. I need to know what's happening. Whenever I'm traveling, I'm a complete backpacker. I don't plan just go stay in a hostel or a B&B. I've practically B&B'd the world. Like, it's a very quirky thing that I do, but a small ticket, a tram ticket, or a cycling tour, whatever I've done, I bring all of that back with me and I put it in the small travel book that I have when I want to move out and take a break. So I go discover new places. And on one of such trips, we came across this French couple. It was just so inspirational, just talking to them. And that helps. That sort of brings newness to life, newness to your journey, which becomes very repetitive and boring sometimes. Change is like a wave, sudden and unexpected. Just take the challenge and ride the wave. Hi, I'm Payal, and this is Me in Action.
Celebrate your Me in Action moments with Mia. DM us your story or tag a Mia hero for us to feature.
Thank you.
Share, comment, and repost with hashtag Me in Action.
Okay, so that is Payal, pretty much fearless, trying everything. So Payal, first I want to ask you that you call yourself accidental entrepreneur. So just take us through your journey as to, how you were an entertainment marketer, and from there, how did you kind of get into handling businesses? So just wanted to hear from you about that.
Okay, hi everybody. A very good evening, and thank you for joining in today. This is the first time I'm doing something like this on a Zoom forum, and thanks Ankita and Shenzyn for doing this. So you've asked me a question, and that basically means you want me to encapsulate 25 years of my life in the next 5 minutes. I'm going to try and do justice.
Kind of.
Before I come to the entertainment marketing to an accidental entrepreneur bit, I think I owe you guys a little bit of a backstory. So like you guys also saw in the video, that my life has not gone as per plan. Like, what I do today is definitely not what I had imagined or probably set out to do. So, I was born and brought up in Nasik. I have to tell you that, my dad is a serial entrepreneur. He's had businesses in practically every industry that you can imagine. He believes that street smartness is, something that something you need to have over education. And my mom is a hardcore professional. She's a dermatologist, 25 years in this industry, very focused, believes that education is the backbone of whatever you want to do in life. And I was brought up by my grandparents because clearly parents were busy, earning a livelihood for us. And while I was growing up with them, I was being groomed to be the perfect wife and the perfect daughter-in-law. So coming from a confluence of so many impressions that I've been, born with, cut to my, immediately after my 10th standard, we moved cities because my dad moved his business. He set up a clinic for mom here. And the clinic, the clear thought was that you're out of school, you go to college, you have fun. But I didn't go to college, I went to acting school. Because my dad thought that's the skill set I need to be successful in life, which was fun, absolutely a lot of fun. So I had to do my initial 2 years correspondence and then literally fight to earn my education and actually go to graduate school. Mm-hmm. Then cut to graduate school, getting into post-graduation with MICA, but again, not doing that because no, that's not important, joining family businesses. And I've done everything in my possible space to say, I'm not joining family business. Whatever happened, the sky fall down, main nahi karne wali hu, mujhse nahi hoga, I can't work with you. Clearly, I had my set of grudges and I didn't join family business, and entertainment marketing happened because literally at that point in time, that was one of the first interviews I gave. I got in and I'm like, best escape, I'm taking a job. So I loved it. Entertainment marketing was so much fun. I got to see the brand alliance point of view, the celebrity management bit, in-film brand placements and all the works. And I was growing year on year on double digits. I was from a client servicing executive to an assistant manager in 1 year, to actually setting up an entire division for a company. So I had no plans of leaving this job world. I was having a great time being an employee. But yeah, tryst with destiny, mom dad decided to move countries. And me being me, that is my personality. I tend to take, I feel responsible, for everybody around me. So, and I could see that the business that they had set up and they put their blood and sweat into was sort of coming down to a standstill or down, degrowing. And that was bothering me. So I decided that while I was anyways in the midst of moving from an agency role to a production house role in the entertainment marketing space, I thought that, I can take a sabbatical for 6 months. Let me just hand out a few things here. In the business that I am today, that's skincare, and my parents were back then, the person, the doctor there, that's my mother, had a goodwill that brought clients in. And she moved the country, right? So I had to go there and bridge the gap and tell them that, listen, I'm her daughter. This is her team. We're here to take care of you, just to ensure that we stay in the business.
Right.
So I took that call and I said, okay, 6 months, I'm going to fix this and go back to what I do, and mom dad will figure things out. So here I am, 2020, sabbatical is still going on. I haven't gone back to being an entrepreneur, being an entertainment marketer. So today, I still manage the parent company that I joined 8 years back, that is Tender Skin International. And I went on to then introduce a products division in 2014, went on to launch my own brand in partnership with a very dear friend and a doctor, Dr. Shelley, called The Wedding Clinic. And I also manage a retail arm, which I started about a year back, a part of my husband's business, where I take care of the day-to-day operations of a franchisee that we own. That is the jewelry brand called Tanishq.
Right.
So I hope now everybody understands.
Yeah, a lot of things that you're doing. Right, absolutely. So I want to start with, when it's about family businesses, like it's like kind of an established or like a perceived thing that, it's easier for you to take over your family business and then, grow that because you already have some cushion, you already have some foundation.
Absolutely.
But then with your case, you did manage that, but you didn't stop there. You also grew interest in your parents' field, and then you started something of your own, right? So if you can just take us through as to, how did you start taking care of your parents' business, and from there, how did you think of, okay, fine, now I've reached this stage that, I can actually go and start thinking of my own business and actually establish that. So how did that entire permutation combination come along?
Okay, so I'm going to try and break the question down into three parts. The
Sure.
first part, because I think each of them is a very separate journey with a
Right.
different set of challenges. So the first was to inherit family business. And I think inheriting a family business is more difficult and emotionally challenging than actually to grow it. Because you're constantly dealing with, the whole thing of managing your relationship, along with trying to set up a formal working rapport. Here you have to go back home to the same people, right? So that becomes very difficult. The other thing is you're also having to deal with a double-edged sword, because one part you're trying to build trust, to your own father and mother, saying that, listen, I've got this and I'll figure it out and I'm learning, and I know this is my first time. And the other end being the team that they've recruited, who feel ki yaar, ye to baby with a silver spoon has come and is trying to change everything.
Right.
So you're like constantly in that flux.
Correct.
So inheriting it is very, very, very difficult. It just seems like, oh, wow, ghar ka business hai, what are you going to do, kind of thing. But it's actually more emotionally draining than anything else.
Right.
The second bit is to grow. And it's more emotionally draining, more so because you're coming from a place of work where you've created value, you've been validated for the work you do, and you've been earning a great buck, and then you come here and you have to prove everything all over again.
Correct.
So then coming to the part of where you to grow is that I think growing is difficult in its own way, but it's not as emotionally challenging. So like you said, there's a cushion, right? The business has come to a certain baseline. Now it's about growing it from that number, that baseline, to from, say, it's at A to B, so we're taking it B to Z. Simple.
Correct.
There, the challenge, I think, is about going back to the drawing board. It's like a puzzle, because traditionally family businesses are not very, there's no corporate structure, there is no data, there's nothing. So you just have to put all the pieces together. I think I took about a year and a half just to put this puzzle together, to understand that, why we do what we do and how many divisions do we have and how we need to disintegrate them into making it individual profit center heads.
Right.
So that bit goes into the growing aspect. And then I think growing is just about navigating it in the right direction. And for that, you need to just keep going back to why we do something and keep asking yourself those questions. And the third part to it being to start your own brand. I think the wedding clinic happened, I would say 4 years or 3.5 years into the journey of managing Tender Skin. And I have to give that having your own baby analogy, where, parents always tell you that, when you'll have your own baby, you'll know. Don't ask me this, don't tell me to not do something or whatever. Because when I joined the family business, I was emotionally, time, energy, everything invested, but I had no buck invested. I had not put in my own money.
Right.
Come TWC, the wedding clinic, I put my own money, and then every single decision that you make just becomes like multifold more important. And it's just, I think you become more and more answerable to your own self, saying, what are you doing? Is this the right call?
Right.
Kind of thing. So the learning curve that launching my own business gave me, I don't think anything till that point of my journey as somebody who's working for a brand and then having my own could have taught me.
Right, right. So going to the next question, a lot of people actually asked us that what is this wedding clinic all about? And it looks like a very niche business. So if you can just explain what is wedding clinic and what is your role and what are you actually trying to create?
Great. So firstly, I think just to give you guys an idea, the wedding clinic is a concept clinic. It's an amalgamation of delivering skincare, curated skincare to the bride, the groom, and the wedding family. So here we're trying to amalgamate two of the most core aspects that I've learned in my 11 years of being in the industry. One was managing celebrities, and the other was trying to curate skincare. I realized that when you want to be a bride, you're no less than a celebrity.
Absolutely.
You have like grown up dreaming of this day of your life. You want everything possible, and you want the best skin and you want the best hair. But at the same time, that's the last thing on your priority list. Right? And this came to me. So when did this concept come to me was when I was doing my own wedding checklist and running around all over, having a clinic of my own, did not care about my skin. I think 3 days before my wedding, my mom had to strap me down and say, treat her, do her stretch marks, do her whatever. And you can't fix stretch marks in 3 days. You can't fix acne in 2 days. This is an intrinsic process. It's a physiological process. It's not just about products and internal medication.
Absolutely.
So I think the need gap analysis happened then ki there is a need in this industry where I need to just educate people that, listen, skincare is a journey. It's not a quick fix.
Right.
So that's how it all began. And the idea sort of came somewhere in 2013 when I was getting married. It took physical form and shape in 2016 when I met, I didn't meet Shelly. I met Shelly in 2014. She was one of my first recruit to Tender Skin. And we just had the most amazing working relationship, and we became best of friends. And then, when she was ready to take the next part, the next step in her journey, we decided to, she also agreed that it's a great concept and she'd love to be a part of it. And we said, okay, great, let's begin. And that's how we actually put physical form to it. Before we got there, of course, we went into a lot of formal research. We did a lot of surveys to understand if something as niche, because we are actually cutting off the other audience and saying, no, we're only going to treat brides, we're going to treat grooms, and we're going to treat bride's mom, bridesmaids, like the entire wedding shenanigans. So is that okay? So that was a very big call, and we got questioned on it. But I think, the concept is so beautiful, and the brand story is the customer journey and the brand story is so beautifully laid out that we've come to a point. I think our customers have also accepted that it's about indulging in skincare and not about just coming and getting a lunchtime procedure and running.
Correct.
So that's more or less, the concept and what we do.
Right. So I think you have different programs starting from 6 years, so 6 months to 1 year, and all of that, right? So how, when people are kind of coming and booking, how do you? Because it's I'm just intrigued to know that, because it's such a niche concept, like when people come and actually have a conversation with you, what are the things that you tell them, or, how does that conversation begin, and how do they come to the conclusion saying that, yes, boss, this is the kind of treatment I want to go and take for my wedding, which is, in a few months in the radar. So how do you kind of make that conversation happen?
So I think, firstly, majority of the clientele that we've gotten has been through like the credibility that has been built in the market. So say you've come to me as a bride and
Yeah.
you've seen the process and
Hmm.
been with us for that 6 months, 1 year.
Hmm.
And then you've referred somebody to us. It's a slow process. It's an organic process. It's slow, but the retention is extremely high.
Correct.
So the minute the client comes in, the first and the foremost thing is the ambience that we've created. It does not feel like a clinic. It's like the most beautiful hues of blue, and I've been told that they get this vibe of being in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
We take we take very limited clients at a time. We have this whole concept of having a skincare manager, like how you have a celebrity manager, where this person actually spends time with you and understanding what is your physiological sense right now. That if I don't understand what's going into your system, and if I don't understand what your day is like and how stressed you are, or what kind of a relationship, you know you whatever relationship issues you're facing in life, it could be a lot of things. So being in the cosmetic dermatology space is not about skincare alone. It's about being a nutritionist, it's about being a psychologist, it's about being a surgeon, it's about being a lot of things put together.
Right.
And it's very, very essential to know that about the client and have that kind of engagement for me to be able to treat what the problem is, or for my team to be able to treat what problem is.
Right.
So that's how we connect with our customers and what we do. And then that's how we do it differently from every other brand in the market who offers bridal services, but that's not the only thing that they're offering everything along with it.
Okay. So, next question for you is that, you mentioned that you came from the background where you didn't know much about skincare, and then you were working with professionals who are, many years of experience, and they actually were working in the industry much before you. But then, like, you as a young entrepreneur, when you started your own business or kind of took over from your family, uh, people who came with industry understanding or know what they're doing, how do you make that? Because I'm sure you must have taken some business calls which may or may not go with them as industry professionals, and then it becomes like an awkward thing because they are experienced also, they know what they're doing, and then you are coming from outside. So that conversation is difficult to have, right? So how did you manage to kind of take them through, like take them along with your journey and your vision, and kind of align your vision with them? So how did you do that?
So there are two situations that I face even today. First one I face even today. One being that the minute I say that I run a chain of skin clinics, they say, "Oh, but you're not a doctor." So I'm
Right.
like, yeah, that's right. But doctor is important, but there are like other 50,000 things that happen to run the clinic.
Right.
So, so that bit, yes. More so, I think when I joined the business, and where I spoke about trust earlier, building trust with my parents, saying that I've got this. I
Right.
joined and I had a huge attrition. I think 6 months, and I lost like 50% of the team they had set up. And they were like, "What are you doing? What is wrong with you? What?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just probably trying to bring about a few change." And I did sense and feel a lot of resistance. Me being an amateur myself, not knowing what goes into running, a team, or running a business per se.
Correct.
So I think what worked for me back then, and in such a situation, if even other entrepreneurs are, what would work for them is to reverse the top-down approach. And sort of have the same level approach. You can't be like, I'm the boss's child, and so if I say A, you do A. No, it's never going to work. And today, even more so, it's not relevant anymore, especially with millennials. That's not how it functions. So I think it's important, along with that, is to accept and also acknowledge and tell everybody that, listen, I'm also learning with you. I don't know. I honestly don't know how you do the front desk work or how you do the conversation with a client. So I'm also learning with you. And if I do make a mistake, uh, again, apologize and acknowledge that, yeah, I did make a mistake, and it's okay to make mistakes.
Right.
You
Right.
can't be the Miss Know It All and just throw your weight around, because then
Correct.
that's just being not like, that's not how I function. So I think the minute I got into business, I had to, though I had grown up in the clinic, I seen what my mom does, but somewhere hands-on experience nahi tha. I didn't know what kind of challenges clients put in front of in front of my team. So when I
Right.
actually did some front desk work, I went into how consultations happen, how conversions happen, how treatments happen, and went through the entire step-by-step process. I was able to actually connect with my team more when they came to me with a problem, because I had been in that problem myself, and I could put myself in their shoes and have that conversation at the same level again, and not just somebody who's like a hearsay conversation.
Right.
So I think it becomes very important that we go down to the grassroots level and actually this also really helps bring in the respect, instead of just going there and saying, listen, respect me because I'm your boss. Let's just build that ground level and put that thing straight out there.
Correct.
That's what I think worked for me. And
Hmm.
over time, my leadership style has also evolved to become faith and freedom.
Hmm.
From the background that I come, where from the house that I come, where mistakes are not taken lightly, and are if you make a small mistake, it's like, oh my God, you made a blunder.
Hmm.
To accepting that I have to trust my team if I want to grow. I have to
Right.
empower them. I have to empower them first to make a mistake,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then they'll be able to make the correct decision, right? I can't say
Correct.
that, yaar, maine teko wo de diya, I gave you the liberty, but you made a mistake, so now you can't. It's over,
Hmm.
kind kind
Right.
of space. So
Hmm.
yeah, and I'm very proud to also say that we've now grown, even like from the time to now, we've been an all women led organization, and we're like for the women, of the women, by the women, and that is something I absolutely love. Because
Right.
today there is this sense where I love to create that. I mean, that's what I'm set out to do, where I can walk into the clinic and say that, listen, I'm PMSing today, don't go on the other side, or you just get each other, because we're
Right.
not competing, we're trying
Right.
to create a synergistic environment to grow together.
Correct, correct, correct. Absolutely. So when it's about wedding, the wedding clinic, as you said that the concept is so niche and not everyone is involved in your clientele as well, right? So how did you build from your business strategy to marketing strategy, because you are targeting to only certain kind of people, and then I'm guessing that a lot of people who are coming to you like must have seen your services when their friends or when their relatives were getting married and they used your services, so they made a mental note that okay, when I'm getting married, I'm coming back here. That must be one way. But then for others, like how are you bringing along your marketing strategy, because it's such a niche environment?
So very honestly, the plan was, we were so busy building the logo and the brand manual and how the place is going to look and the brand story, because we were like, oh my God, we love what we're doing, kind of space.
Right.
Uh, the plan was, whatever we do in Bombay, we're going to do in Pune. Like,
Okay.
Bombay mein XYZ works, so XYZ is going to happen in Pune. We fell flat on our face.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that worked in Bombay worked in Pune. I
Okay.
mean, though it was a simulated environment in terms of the awareness level of the maturity level of the audience, but
Mm-hmm.
when it came to actually putting your marketing foot forward, Pune didn't work like that. Pune, we just realized that it's a very, very different catchment, and it needs to be sensitized to the concept. It needs to be, very organically dealt with. It is going to be pure credibility. It has to only grow the credible way. Whatever you put out, the people are not going to come to you. Like, it's very
Right.
trust oriented.
Hmm.
So thankfully, though that bit did not work, our fallback option was our brand story.
Hmm.
And because the brand story was so strong and we were so niche and we were targeting the premium and the ultra premium segment, we got crazy number of eyeballs. Like, we got covered by practically every magazine, and we were getting calls and being reached out by emails from magazines, newspapers, and influencers from Delhi and Bombay saying that, hey, we heard of something, or we read about you and we'd like to cover you. And I think that really got the word out there. I
Okay.
still remember it was about 6 months into launching the brand, and I was attending a beauty event in Bombay. My mom was a panel speaker, and till then, my identity was running I always got introduced as, oh, she runs her mom's business. And it infuriated me. But fair enough,
Yeah.
for the lack of people understanding what I do, I totally get it.
Correct.
So I go there and then I give my card saying that, I'm the founder of the wedding clinic. I'm the co-founder of the wedding clinic. And they're like, oh yeah, we've heard of the concept. And, in fact, we were going to get in touch with you. We wanted to write something. And then we got into a conversation and it felt amazing that these people did not know me, but they know my brand today. So we've definitely done something right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. So now you are running wedding clinic for, I think, what, 3 years now?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. Oh, okay. So apart from running a wedding clinic, you mentioned that you are also kind of helping out in your husband's business, which is the Tanishq arm that you kind of take care of.
Right.
So first of all, how are you getting time to manage everything, and which is so different from each other? And then how did this entire Tanishq thing come into place, and how did you start and started taking care of it?
So I think Tanishq was something that happened about a year back. And Kalp, my husband, has a retail, he has about 8 stores, and Tanishq happened a year back.
Right.
So he felt that, it's very customer centric and customer front end. I have a very strong customer front end streak because I manage such a heavy duty customer journey, brand that is Tender Skin and the wedding clinic.
Right.
So he said, I think, you're like very suited for this role, so please take it up. I was like, yeah, sure, why not, because I've realized that the more things I take on my plate, the better I get at managing my existing businesses. And it just brings me out of the micromanagement and gives me a macro view of everything. I learn and implement things from, it's like hands-on B school. Like I learn a few things from here, I implement it here, I do something right here, and I see this works here, I implement it there. So
correct.
I feel that pushing myself and pushing the envelope a little every few years or every 2 years keeps my perspective very fresh, and I don't tend to get bored and getting into the same rut, or then getting into the smaller things and nuances which are not so important.
Right.
So from that perspective, I think it really helps. How I do it, I never had an answer to that question until the pandemic happened. But I realized one thing about myself during the pandemic: I am a doer. Like if you don't give me work, I will find work.
Right.
So period. Like if I have 2 days where I'm free and you come to me saying that, hey, listen, I have an idea, will you help me? I'll say yes. And then 2 days later, I'll realize that I've taken a little too much on my plate, and then I'll put in those extra hours to finish it.
Right.
But yeah, that's just what I am.
So this entire pandemic thing that you spoke about, a lot of entrepreneurs having different businesses are kind of finding their innovative ways of, how to first of all survive and then how to kind of grow your business. So you again being in such a niche marketing, niche audience that you're dealing with, how are you guys dealing with the entire pandemic thing? And what are the strategies in case you have implemented only for the pandemic, or, how are you handling with that entire situation?
So I think, again, being honest here, the pandemic did sort of put us a few steps back in terms of what our planned scale was. We planned to bring the wedding link to Bombay this year, but clearly that's probably pushed by a few months or a year. It's hit our numbers. But having said that, I think we've also taken multiple steps forward. There were so many things on the back burner ever since the clinic started or the brand started, but we were so busy in our day-to-day or doing so many things that those were never really being taken up as projects.
Right.
So I feel that the pandemic got us to innovate and do things so much faster that would have probably taken years to put into process. We were able to adapt to, telemedicine, video consultations. We came up with DIY facial kits, and we came up with lockdown hampers to send over to our clients, because we're like, yours, just take care of your skin and hair, because we know you can't come to the clinic, and we know your wedding's postponed and you're very upset about it or you're very stressed about it. But, here you go. You're going to be fine. We're here though we can't physically be there, but we're here to take care of you. And these are things we've been wanting to do forever, but never happened. But it happened in days because we didn't have a choice, right? That was literally, you just pushed to the wall and you said that, bro, kar lo, abhi to option nahi hai tax.
Correct.
So I think that was, we were able to really capitalize on taking that up. I also, I think, want to say this to everybody here, and I've realized this, that the pandemic did not, it's like saying that the pandemic made us all innovate. Yes, the pandemic was here, did not happen to us. It happened for us. And each one of us, I think, I mean, at least I felt that I was able to take a pause and, look back, reassess my business, understand that, what are the need gaps that we've not addressed or maybe need to be completely cut off, for example, realign our goals and actually come back with a completely fresh perspective. So it just felt like, a storm came and it's just cleared the way out and given you a completely clean chit, because all the baggage that I was sitting with, ye bhi karna, ye data nahi kiya, wo enrichment baki, sab ho gaya. Right? Because you just had time in your hand to look at all of that. So that's, I think, how we've done it. And I would really, request everyone who's here to literally consider this as an opportunity to innovate and to come up with things which you've always wanted to do.
Right, right. So yeah, the next question is about as an entrepreneur who actually worked with your parents' business also, and then you started your own business, and you are helping out with your husband's business. For budding entrepreneurs, like what is the kind of advice that you would like to give? Something from your personal experience, or how, from your point of view, what are the things that you would like to tell them, especially during pandemic and overall as well?
So I think during pandemic, like I mentioned, that firstly, let's try and look at the good and not the bad. I know it's been difficult for a lot of us, including us. We were supporting our teams across the months of the lockdown as much as we could. So it's happened to everybody. It's not you alone. So let's not look at it like that. And I think we're almost at the end of it, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can see things have opened up in other countries. We're opening up as well. So it's just a matter of time. Like I said, you've probably taken a few steps back. It's a matter of time. You're going to be back to where you were pre-COVID. And when it comes to budding women entrepreneurs, I have to say, I think the most important thing that's made me reach where I am and multitask and manage multiple businesses that I do today, and also still keep playing a role of a daughter, a mother, not a mother, but a godmother to my Shih Tzus, but a sister, a wife, a daughter, everything, right? There are multiple roles that we're playing here every day, has been to keep transparent dialogue at home. And this is something that my husband had told me when he got married, and told me that, Payal, people don't understand what you do because you come from the management, operational, strategy point of view. And I come from a family of doctors. Clearly, I need to go back home and tell them what my day entailed of. So I think my biggest suggestion or advice would be that please have conversations at home. Go home and tell everybody what your day was like and what is required of you when you are at work, and how much of you is required when you're at work. Only then will they be able to understand why you do some, why you don't react in a certain way or why you react in a certain way, and they'll actually become your support system. Because I feel that I look forward to going back home today because I know I have that support system back home, and I'm not going to be judged. I'm not going to have to go and answer why I came late today or why I couldn't help with home chores today. And it's a big baggage women carry.
Absolutely.
Especially in India, it is a thing that a girl has to do these many things and a boy cannot do so many things. So, and I think the transparent dialogue has really helped me get through all that I can do, and I'm absolutely thankful for my to my in-laws and my family for this. And so that this definitely helps strike the perfect work-life balance. Similarly, I feel that as women we bring a sense of accountability with an emotional quotient, which I don't think anybody can take away from you. So don't let them tell you otherwise. And the most important thing is that let's help each other grow. Because if as women, let's empower more women, and it's an amazing journey. Whether as an entrepreneur, whatever it is, and like let's reach out and let's be there, because it's not so easy out there for us, and we also know that we've all sort of been in the corporate space. And so yeah, I guess that's That's all that I could think of.
Absolutely. One last thing that I want to ask you, that because you are managing so many things with so much efficiency together, I'm sure from your experiences, you must have had some processes that you must have cracked. Like, if you're multitasking, how are you managing? And it's not only about, physically going from one place to other. It's actually stopping one part of your brain which is thinking about maybe the wedding clinic, and then going to the Tanish thing, and then coming back, right?
Correct.
So how are you doing that switch off and on thing? And any advice for people who want to multitask like this? So how do you efficiently manage your time accordingly?
So one of my, someone had asked me that what is my vision in life, and I said that to be able to remotely manage my work from anywhere that I'm in the world, because I love traveling,
Hmm.
and I feel travel also gives me a lot of perspective.
Right.
So I think it's a matter of habit.
Hmm.
So once after a point in time when you've done, a certain business, you really know the pulse of the business.
Hmm.
Your brain compartmentalizes,
Hmm.
and when you understand the business needs, it's not difficult to hustle. When you get a call from you're sitting maybe at the wedding clinic, but you got a Tanish call, it's not difficult to pivot and manage it.
Hmm.
Trust me, the because we're in the management of the operational space, problems are more or less similar. It's just about managing, figuring out how to at that point in time manage it. Also, very very important is to have the right team, because if
Hmm.
you have people, like I said, if you trust your people and you have the right people in place and you have learned the art of delegation, it's not difficult. It's absolutely not difficult. It can get overwhelming. I've had my phase where I have been all over the place and not knowing that, oh my God, why am I doing this to myself? Why can't I just do one thing?
Right.
But having come like 8 years now and practically multitasking in 4 different places for the last so many years, I've come to realize it's not difficult. Your brain has the capability, if you want it to have that capability, to compartmentalize. But yeah, you need to be a workaholic, and you need to be okay to work from when you open your eyes to when you
Yeah.
close your eyes. There
Right.
is, and you have to learn to coexist. Like when I
Hmm.
travel, I'm never off. My phone is always on. I'm always
Hmm.
available. I don't need a break.
Hmm.
I've reached to a point where work is synonymous with wherever I am in the world.
Right.
I think I've achieved that level where I like that few hours of doing my checking my mails, replying, getting on a call, checking if everything's fine, and then going on to explore the city that I'm visiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I guess it's just a matter of figuring out the balance of coexistence, and you guys will be fine.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Payal. Okay, in case from audience, if we have any questions, we can take last 5 to 10 minutes. But I can see a lot of very good compliments coming. Payal, have you been reading it?
I just opened the chat. Thank you very much, guys. It's extremely nice. Thanks, Neha. Thank you, Vismaya and Sangeeta. Oh my God, there's like a lot of people.
Okay, I think Sangeeta has a question. I have two questions for Payal. What is a typical day like in the life of accidental entrepreneur? And at the end of the at the end of the day,
What gives
what
you the
gives you the boost to look forward to next sunrise? Wow, beautiful
I think my
questions.
biggest fear in life is to wake up to have nothing to do. So I wake up because I know I have so many things to, so many tasks that a typical day in my life, I'm still trying to discipline myself in the space of, working out every day. Whatever pandemic also, by the way, helped me with that. I was able to
Hmm.
finally put my health first and eat right, cook. I learned cooking. I finally can make good food. Thank God. So yeah, but I think a typical day it's all work for me. It's nothing else. I wake up and I have like an agenda. I usually have my days divided through the week, and
Hmm.
I also through the month I have my schedule of visiting the Pune clinic. So I have different businesses that I visit every day. And the days I'm not visiting a business, I sit out of a co-working space and I just have my Excel sheets in front of me, and I'm doing a lot of data analysis. So
Okay.
that's typically what I do. And what I look forward to, yeah, I guess, like I said, that I have so many people. I think I always had this thing that, I want to do something social and I want to help the environment, or I want to help people and whatever I can do. And then at one point, Kalp, my husband, told me that, do you understand that, you run a business, like we together run a business where we are actually taking care of 80 families.
Yeah.
So if you don't get up tomorrow and you're not fit enough to run that business, your business going down is going to affect 80 families. And that keeps me going every single day, that, I can't let my guard down.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. I think, oh, thank you, Pal, for sharing inspiring, growing, more success too.
Thank
Amazing
you.
comments I'm getting. So, thank you so much, Payal, for spending so much time with us and having such a candid dialogue, and take us through your entire journey. How did you start and all of that? Audience, thank you so much for being here. I hope you like the session. As I mentioned earlier, this webinar series is on, and we have a couple of interesting webinars happening in the coming week also. 31st August being one of the biggest webinars that we are doing around women artists. So we have 4 to 5 really great, talented women artists coming and joining us for the session. So I invite you to attend that session also. The details will be uploaded on our social media platforms. Payal, any last words before we close in for today?
I actually firstly want to thank you guys. This has been amazing, and thank you for all the lovely comments that you guys have put in. That's very, very encouraging. I was very nervous for today's webinar. And just one thing that I think I'd like to say is, just believe in yourself, guys, and yeah, don't be too harsh and don't look for too much validation. And you guys are doing fab and whatever you guys are doing. So all the best and stay safe.
Thank you, Payal. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
audience. See you again. Thank you.
See
Have a
you.
good
Bye
evening.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.